I was told that Donald Trump was a genius businessman who would save the economy, who would lower the cost of gas, groceries, and rent. And of course, I never believed that, and neither did you. We knew Donald Trump would be a failure. But what we didn't know is that Donald Trump would admit that Donald Trump was a failure, as we saw in his interview with Maria Bartiromo, where he said, yes, there might be a recession because of his disastrous economic agenda. Now, that interview was one thing. But what really makes it bad is Donald Trump getting caught in the lie from another. And that interview was with Krysten Welker, who also sat down with Donald Trump's Commerce Secretary today and grilled him about Donald Trump's failures. And we are going to get into all of that. But before we do, if I could quickly ask you to leave a like on this video. And if you haven't already and you enjoy our channel, to hit that subscribe button. It goes a long way. And it really does mean a lot to me. Now, I want to check out both of these interviews, both with Howard Lutnick and Donald Trump. But first, let's get into the Lutnick one right here.
Okay, so no tariffs this week in that regard. We'll wait till April 2nd to see those as it relates to dairy and lumber. The CEOs of Target and Best Buy this week warned that they will have to increase prices as a result of tariffs. Do you acknowledge that prices will go up for consumers because of these tariffs?
I think it's important for people to realize that we run $2 trillion deficits, and Donald Trump is going to try to balance the budget of the United States of America. And when you balance the budget of the United States of America, you drive interest rates down 150 basis points, 1.5%. You're going to have mortgages come smashing down. The cost of your home will come smashing down. We're going to drill, baby, drill and drive down the price of energy. That's coming down. So these two massive moves are going to happen. And you know who's going to pay for that? Tariffs and outside countries who just leech off of us, lean on us, earn money off of us. They've got to start to pay. President Trump wants the American people to start to understand the External Revenue Service should start to pay. Yes, some products that are made foreign might be more expensive, but American products will get cheaper, and that's the point. Buy American, made by great Americans. We're going to bring manufacturing back. That's where we're going. That's where this president is going. Bring it back. Yeah. So will there be distortions? Of course. Foreign goods may get a little more expensive, but American goods are going to get cheaper, and you're going to be helping Americans by buying American.
All right, you take me right to my next question. I want to play you something that President Trump said to me back in December. Take a listen.
I went on groceries. It's a very simple word, groceries. Like almost, who uses the word? I started using the word, the groceries. When you buy apples, when you buy bacon, when you buy eggs, they would double and triple the price over a short period of time. And I won an election based on that. We're going to bring those prices way down.
Mr. Secretary, can you be specific? When exactly can Americans expect to see those prices come way down?
Egg prices up 200% under Biden. Biden just killing chickens, trying to worry about things. It's crazy the way eggs have gone up 200%. Donald Trump's going to bring the price of eggs down now. Donald Trump's tariffs are, here's the idea. All these other countries, like India, for instance, when Modi was in town, right? 1.4 billion people, and they won't buy a bushel of our corn. Europe, always blocking our farmers. As our farmers can sell more and more overseas, you're going to see the price of food in America come down. It's a volume thing. Well, I think the deal starts April 2nd. The deal starts April 2nd of reciprocal tariffs. The president's going to negotiate country by country. He's going to drive down other countries' barriers, unleashing our farmers, our ranchers, and our fishermen. They're going to explode in value, and the prices of American produce, row crops, produce and fish are going to come down because our American industries are going to win around the world because finally, Donald Trump is behind them, protecting them. He's got their back, and he's going to make them winners. And that all of America is going to be winners because these prices are coming down, and the process starts April 2nd.
All right, Mr. Secretary, consumer sentiment is dropping. Inflation has ticked up. Major banks like J.P. Morgan and Goldman Sachs now say a recession in the next 12 months is becoming more likely. Should Americans brace for a recession?
Absolutely not. Anybody who bets against Donald Trump, it's like the same people who thought Donald Trump wasn't a winner a year ago. Donald Trump is a winner. He's going to win for the American people. That's just the way it's going to be. There's going to be no recession in America. What there's going to be is global tariffs are going to come down because President Trump has said, you want to charge us 100%? We're going to charge you 100%. And you know what they say? They say, no, don't charge us 100%. We'll bring ours down. We'll unleash America out to the world, grow our economy in a way we've never grown before. You are going to see over the next 2 years the greatest set of growth coming from America as Americans. You saw it, 1.3 trillion of new investment coming in America. Think of all those jobs. And remember, each trillion of investment in America is 1% of growth GDP. So Donald Trump is bringing growth to America. I would never bet on recession. No chance.
Of all the Trump cabinet members who are laying it on a little too thick, to put it nicely, Howard Lutnick might be the most shameless in his defense that there will be no recession, that of course the Trump economy is booming and it's Biden who's responsible for everything, even though the Trump economy is failing and it was the Biden economy that was booming. And we can just see that in the most basic economic predictors, which, by the way, they want to change because things are going so poorly. But this is what I'm talking about. We saw that Krysten Welker Trump interview from a few months ago that she brought back up, showing that, yet Donald Trump was talking about groceries then, and then he admitted that he wouldn't be able to solve any of the problems. And now, not only has he not solved them, but he has made them worse. And of course, Donald Trump admitted to that even further in a clip right here.
And I want to ask you about Ukraine and the blow up the other day with Zelensky. Let me stay on the economy for a moment, because there are rising worries about a slowdown. You've got the Atlanta Federal Reserve saying we're going to have a contraction in the first quarter. Look, I know that you inherited a mess, and you said that the other night.
I've only been here,
but are you expecting a recession this year?
I hate to predict things like that. There is a period of transition because what we're doing is very big. We're bringing wealth back to America. That's a big thing. And there are always periods of, it takes a little time. It takes a little time. But I think it should be great for us. I mean, I think it should be great. It's going to be great ultimately for the farmer. You know, don't forget,
It just seems like he doesn't even care, which would make sense. He doesn't. And it is important why Donald Trump's tariffs, the flip-flopping, is covered, more so than just the meltdowns that he has, the temper tantrums that he throws, how fundamentally weak he is. The reason he's pulling back on these tariffs is that there's two real big issues there. The first is business leaders are unable to predict what circumstances they might be operating under. Are there going to be 25% tariffs? Are there not? It makes it very difficult to do business, right? That's why we see people hoarding cash. That's why there is a downturn in the market. That's why we saw the biggest job losses, the most people let go from their jobs since the last two recessions. People can't predict things. So one, that's a big economic issue. The second is, if Donald Trump can just go back and forth and back and forth and back and forth on these tariffs without needing any national security concern to justify them, because that's usually why tariffs are put in place. Sure, it is an economic tool, but it's to exercise the influence over, foreign adversaries, usually. If Donald Trump can just do this without the approval of Congress, he's putting more power in the executive branch. He's putting more power in the Oval Office. He can bypass Congress for whatever he wants, if it's just some economic issue, I guess, is the point that he's trying to make. And that, as well, is incredibly dangerous. It's really scary that is what Donald Trump is clearly trying to do here with the tariffs, more so than just acting like an idiot. And if you want to talk about acting like an idiot, we can check out more of this interview with Howard Lutnick.
Terry, let's start with this past week. As you know, for the second time in 2 months, President Trump announced and then walked back tariffs on Canada and Mexico. The whiplash causing confusion on Wall Street and Main Street as well. Does the president have a responsibility to businesses and consumers to spell out his plan and then stick to it?
You have to remember, this is a drug-related issue. You've got fentanyl pouring into this country, killing 75,000 Americans, autopsied. And the president, thinks it's many, many more, because multiples more. So it's important for the president to talk to the leaders of both Canada and Mexico, get them to shut the border, shut the fentanyl coming into the country. And of course he's going to be on the phone with them. And of course he's going to talk to them. And he is a deal maker, the greatest deal maker in the world. So he makes better deals. He's gotten the border closed. He's gotten fentanyl to be shut down. He put tariffs on China, who makes the precursors. This is the way you run the country. You shut the border. You get our neighbors to do their job. It's not only us who has to do their job. Why are our neighbors who live and breathe off our economy not taking care of America?
Mr. Secretary, one death from fentanyl is too many. I think everyone agrees with that. One scintilla of fentanyl coming across any border is unacceptable on any level. It is worth noting that less than 1% comes over the Canadian border, 97% come over the border from Mexico. If this is the crisis that you just laid out, why is President Trump hitting the pause button? Why not go full bore with this?
Well, what he did, remember, what he did was we have a deal with Canada and Mexico. It's called U.S.-Mexico-Canada Agreement, USMCA. And that says if there's a certain amount of American product in those products, and it's done a certain way, they can trade with America tariff-free. So by meeting in the middle with these leaders who said they're going to do much more on the border, they're going to do everything they possibly can to end fentanyl, the president said, okay, I'll tell you what. If they're in the deal that we made, I'll keep it tariff-free. But for everybody who was outside that deal, who took the risk, who didn't pay attention and respect the agreements that President Trump made his first term, they're going to pay a 25% tariff. And that's sort of like meeting in the middle. So he gave the automakers relief. He gave computer makers relief. The major industries got relief. But everybody who's outside that agreement, they're going to pay. And Canada and Mexico promised they are going to crush the border and they're going to crush fentanyl. And that's what our president is here to do, to stop fentanyl killing America.
Mr. Secretary, let me ask you about what the Fed Chair Jerome Powell had to say on Friday. He said, quote, "We're still very uncertain about what will be tariffed, for how long, and at what level." So can you provide some clarity, Mr. Secretary? Are these tariffs going to be temporary or permanent?
So the tariffs that we've started with Mexico, Canada, and China, that was the month of March. These are fentanyl-related, border-related. So China makes the ingredients for fentanyl. It's got to stop.
This is not a smart person. These are not smart people. They are not qualified. They do not know what they're talking about or doing, but they will suck up to Donald Trump. Again, it's the reason why they're trying to change economic indicators and how we measure success in our economy, because it's gotten that bad that quick. And we have to call that out. We're certainly going to on this show every single day. If you want to support that, as always, you can hit that subscribe button, leave a like on this video, and if you stuck around to the end, you can drop a blue heart in the comments. And until next time, I'll see you soon.